Oh, hello and welcome back to the Weekly Wigz. Hi, gang. Hi, honeys. Oh, God. Oh, guys, I'm actually so in the trenches. It's unbelievable. I'm not going to lie. I've had an interesting little few days. Your girl is down bad, okay? We got a lot of things to just briefly touch on here before I get back into part 2 of my podcast, which follows on from the last episode. Make sure you go listen to it. But, oh man, so recorded a lovely little pod with Miss Adel, which, again, go back, listen to part 2 if you're not already. We did a lot of talk about travel experiences, travel stories, and this is what mainly today is part 2. We ended up yapping for like a full 2 hours. And I was like, girlie, love our conversations, but we're going to need to chop that down a bit, I think, for a 2-parter, because 2 hours is just a little bit too long for one singular episode. But in that very small space of time where I had Amber and she was staying at mine, I'm basically an injured woman. I'm down bad. I am down bad right now. And if you're watching this on the video, I'm just sat here in my bloody dressing gown, trying to do some of this editing for the 2 episodes. And I am just an injured woman. I've got a very bad collarbone and shoulder injury. I honestly don't know how this has happened to me this week. Life was going well. And then I had just like a little bit of this awkward fall where like I jolted my collarbone. I spent 2 hours of my life on Saturday in an urgent care clinic. Can't really speak. I spent 2 hours of my life on the weekend in an urgent care clinic trying to figure out my life. And they were like, you've got calcification on your collarbone. I was like, what the fuck is that? Literally, it's still actually quite unresolved as we speak right now, and I'm trying to get a GP appointment tomorrow. It's a whole drama. But yeah, I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm just like very limited on movement, and I'm just in the trenches. She is injured, woman down, and I'm just trying to push through this pain right now while I'm at this desk doing the editing, but just know the pain I go through for the art. But anyway, enough yapping. That's kind of where I'm at in life at the minute. Obviously, I don't have a specific culture corner or weekly updates to give you this week because of the fact that I'm carrying on from the last episode. So I'm going to stop yapping, and without further ado, I'm going to give you part 2 of the pod with me and Amber Adel. You know the drill. If you want to obviously go and listen back to part 1, then I would recommend you do so before you dive into this one. And please engage with the pod, guys. Drop us some comments in the comment section. Give it a like. And if you don't already subscribe or follow to these channels, whether that's on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, then please go ahead and do so. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, without further ado, let's get back into part 2. So out of all your travels then, and all the destinations, I mean, we could probably sit here all day and like talk through every single place you went to, but we are at an hour already. But can you just give us like a quick rapid fire, like a top 5 destination? And to be fair, this doesn't actually even have to include your specific backpacking travels, but in your lifetime, like what are your top 5 travel destinations? I can start with mine if that would help you with a bit of inspiration.
Yeah,
I've got a list
5.
Here. Maybe 3. Maybe we'll go
I can
with
definitely
3.
do 3.
Well, my number 1 is probably no surprise because you can literally see it on my wall, is Mr. New York or Mrs. New York City. And I don't know, I just had like a very like, I don't know, life-changing. It wasn't really life-changing, but there was just something about my experience when I went to New York for the first time, and I was doing it as a solo trip.
Yeah,
and it was
same.
Yeah, it was my first
solo trip was to New York. That's
what
crazy.
A place to do it,
Isn't
and it's
it? Like I hate cities now. When I go, I'm like, I don't want to do it on my own.
I mean, yeah, it is kind can be low-key overwhelming, but there was just, I think I just felt like I was in a movie because I was like, oh my God, first of all, this is just so exciting that I'm doing this on my own. I feel so proud of myself. Number 2, I've seen 1,000 bloody movies where New York is like the set, and it's like, oh.
That's literally it. And I went for Christmas, cool. So I was like, whoa.
It's honestly like another world.
It is very magical.
Is a great
I know
place.
what you mean. It wouldn't be up there in mine, but I know exactly what you mean. And when I was leaving, I was like catching a bus from Times Square, and it started to snow as well.
Oh,
and I was
it
like,
does get cold there though.
And I was
went in
oh
February.
wow, what is this? And I have to say, seeing it does feel like a movie set.
And I think as well, because I'm a bit of like a history nerd, and there's so many historical landmarks, and even like the 9/11 museum, as heartbreaking as it is just,
that was a very amazing museum.
What an amazing thing to visit and learn
Moving.
about. So
Yes.
moving. I would actually say I've been to a lot of museums across the world.
I was going to say, if you bring museums
What?
into it, then there might be different ones. Because, like, do you know? Oh, yeah, okay.
There's a lot of culture and stuff in New York, other than just like the fact that it's known for movie sets and stuff. But like, I was just pretty blown away by it. And I mean, it's not really super cheap. America's pretty expensive these days. And
I was super lucky that my friend lived there at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I was jammy.
That is jammy.
Hella jammy.
How the hell do these New Yorkers live there? I do not understand. Millions of dollars for these like skyscraper flats and all the rest of them. Like, and even renting there is a complete crisis.
I was going to say, I don't even want to
living there very different
about that.
Touristing over there. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. For me, it was just one of those trips that it really just left an impact on me. And I went back a lot of times after it, and I was just like, I never get sick of this city because it's so big and there's so much to do there. There's always something new for me to do every time I go back. And I think that's why I just enjoy it, because I'm like, oh, it's the what do they call it? The 24-hour city. And it's just, I don't know, there's just a lot of life in New York, and the New Yorkers, the characters, they're quite funny people actually. But anyway, that's my number one destination. My number two, I'm giving it to Spain as an overall, because Spain has also got like a place in my heart, because it's maybe something British people can relate to, because it's such an easy journey for us to take, right? Like, you'd probably be able to say majority of British people, if they've gone on a holiday, they've probably frequently been to like Spain at least a few times in their life, right? Because it's like such a popular tourist destination, 2 hours on a flight, fairly affordable. But Palma and Valencia. Really
nice.
enjoyed Valencia.
And did you ever go to Murcia?
No, I've not been there.
It was not the same as Valencia, but I actually really enjoyed it because they weren't as English spoken. So I really enjoyed struggling.
Is it Catalan or something else?
It might be Catalan. But yeah, I really enjoyed, like, I can remember going with my friend and us trying to just order like an oat milk coffee. And is one of my favourite memories. I'm going so off tangent.
Come on, give us a story time.
It was during Lent. When did we go? We went in March because we needed to use our annual leave. And she was like, oh, my friend, her parents had like a flat in Murcia at the time. And we were literally queuing for boxing. And she was like, do you know what? I'm going to Spain in a couple of weeks. Do you want to come with me? Well, you don't literally have to ask me twice. I was like, yes. And like 2 weeks later, I'm not even being funny. Straight up, we were going to Murcia together. And I spent the first weekend with her, and we were mooching around. And I'm vegan and I can't have dairy. And I was trying to order an oat milk latte, and I was trying to order her something because she wasn't having she wasn't doing chocolate for Lent. But every time I was like, no leche, she'd be like, no. The more she'd say no leche, she'd get more northern. So by the end of it, I was like, no, because the lady was going, oh, like oat. And I was like, si. And then she was like, but then Beth, my friend, was just being like, no, leche. And I'm like, no, but leche is still oat milk. Like, it's still, I want the oat leche, but not the dairy leche. And it became really comical, and it lasted so much. And I really enjoyed like this really silly moment where two Brit girls just didn't really speak that much Spanish, and this poor woman was like,
it's quite funny. Yeah.
We did not end up with what we thought we had, but I did have oat. Both of us had oat in the end anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, but I loved it. So
the worst part sometimes about the language barrier is I always try my best to like at least say a few words in any country.
Hello and thank you as well.
Yeah, like just some of the like greetings. But then the problem is sometimes when you do that, and they just assume that like you might speak more of it, and then because I've had that a few times where I might like I had an entire year streak of Spanish on Duolingo. I'll have you know, quite proud. Do I remember any of it now?
Never.
But I was on a bit of a hike once, and there was more than just please and thank you that I could say. Like even just things like asking for a bag in the shop, like I knew how to say that, or like saying sorry or perdón and all this stuff, right? And I think when you start saying a few more of those words, they might assume that you can understand, and then of course they start fully talking to me in Spanish, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I was like, lo siento, no habla español.
No hables inglés.
Literally, I was like, habla inglés, por favor, gracias. But yeah, it's a bit frightening sometimes when you're like, oh God, what are you saying? But I mean, to be fair, well, not to shit on the UK once more, but like,
we're terrible at trying to teach other language,
and every other country can speak English.
Honestly,
pretty much.
like, I remember in Asia, they're always like, oh, it's so lucky that you speak English. I was like, yeah, only because we colonized the world. And, like, everyone else speaks
forced you
English.
all to speak
Yo,
it.
I was like, I really don't want to be completely ignorant. And, like, I will really try and just, like, just learn words, or like at least like hello and thank you is like the bare minimum. But like I love it when you spend like a little bit longer somewhere and you can just like try new words. Like when I was in Indonesia this time, I think it's garita, which is just octopus in Indonesia.
Oh, that's a nice word to learn.
Garita. I can't tell you anything else. Can't tell you what the octopus is doing. But I was like, oh, that's really cute.
The locals do appreciate it though, and I felt that in Spain. Like when you say certain things, they genuinely, I think, appreciate that you at least try and make an effort. But they can spot an English person or a UK person, a tourist, miles off. Like they know the deal, most of them. But yeah, I've definitely had a few of those instances in all parts of Spain. But yeah, Valencia though, that I think that is one of my favourite Spanish cities I've been to so far.
It's very
it's
it's
nice.
Very cool.
It's quite chill. Like I think what I'm learning about cities is like, yes, I can do a big busy city and it can be fun and you can like go and experience it all, but if you're just looking for like a nice chill vibe that gives you a bit of a mix of both, Valencia's perfect because it has like a really nice massive beach, but it's not an overpopulated city. Like Barcelona is a very different ball game. It's really busy there.
Valencia's like a strip, so you have the beach and then you have like the museum.
Yeah.
And then it goes into like the historical buildings of the city where all the shops, and it's like it's really
so
nice, lovely.
It's so
laid
much
out.
more chill there,
Yeah.
and the public transport is really good there, and it's quite cheap as well. Like when I went last, it was really affordable.
Love that.
I've been to Madrid though; that's actually quite good, Madrid. But I still think those are some major Spanish cities there: Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Seville. Have you not?
I've never been to Barcelona.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie, not to take a slight tangent here. I know I'm on the best list possible, but I did do a little, like, least favourite list. And in the same breath of all my praise for Spain, and my friend Josie's going to hate me for this because she literally lives there. But I'm so sorry, but Barcelona is in my least favourite list because various reasons, right? Number one, to me, it's like the London of Spain, which it kind of, like, it's known as that, you know, it's like the more metropolitan city.
So fair.
And to be fair, some parts of London are a bit grotty and not that nice, you know. But I think I've seen a lot of that in Barcelona, the amount of times I've been there. And then very sadly, I'm kind of scarred for life from it because I basically nearly got mugged there.
Do you know what was going in my head? Big bargain.
Oh, no, big bargain. No, I could have done with someone doing that because I literally was fearing for no. Okay, let me just quickly go into the story time for the pod because this was actually very traumatic for me, and I think I'm genuinely so... But whenever I step foot back in Barcelona, which I'm just going to be real, the only reason I go there is because my best friend lives there. I'm very happy to go and visit her from time to time. And there are... I'm not going to fully shit on Barcelona. There are some nice parts to it. Obviously, it's Spain, it's sunny, palm trees, all the rest of it, right? But ever since that incident happened, I just feel so unsafe there.
That's so fair.
And... to be perfectly honest, it's got a bad reputation anyway. It's really bad for pickpocketing. Yeah. I know a lot of other like tourist destinations like Paris, Rome are also known for that, but Barcelona is pretty rife. And I knew of this because of the fact that my friend lives there. Like she had told me her own horror stories of all sorts of muggings and all sorts of things that have happened to her. So you know that in the back of your mind and you're thinking, be streetwise, like all this stuff. So I went there. This is probably maybe my third visit at this point, I'm assuming. It was actually, funny enough, sort of during the pandemic. I think it was 2021. It was like during a period of time where we were allowed to travel. There was like a brief window where you could go away. So obviously I was like, I'm going to go see Josie. And it was a pretty quiet time there. So I think, unfortunately, I stuck out like a sore thumb because I was one of the few tourists there and I had a suitcase. And I did that.
I hate traveling from the airport to my place because I'm like, I'm a tourist right now and I hate it.
And I could have just done taxi, but I was like, no, I'm going to get the best. And I know, like, walk through the streets and it's all going to be fine. So I obviously stuck out like a sore thumb. I then did kind of probably the worst thing possible and stopped on the corner of a road and got my Google Maps out to remember where I was going. And these people clocked me for early, right?
Oh my goodness, they are so eagle-eyed.
So I'm walking down the street, and bear in mind, I literally am 5 minutes away. I literally was familiar with the area, but I was just double checking that I was going down the right road, because I was like, I can't remember which one it is. I'm not joking when I say I was like less than a 5 minute walk from my house, right? So I'm walking down the street, got my suitcase, and then it's such a strange experience when this happens to you, because it is very much like fight or flight when you're in danger. Like, your human reactions, it's quite amazing how it comes out of you. And this guy came from behind me and did this very deliberate, like, bashed me, right? And
he's not even a good pickpocketer. What the hell?
I know. But listen, right, it's a very orchestrated thing that they do. And I am actually very thankful for my friend, because she had told me, like, before about how they tend to do it, right? So this guy comes from behind me. It's a very dramatic, like, ooh, and he makes this whole dramatic noise. And I'm not joking you, I immediately knew what was happening. I was like, oh, this is it. Oh my God. You just know in the back of your head, and then it weirdly is playing itself out. So in some senses, that was probably a positive, because I was better at reacting. So that happens, right? I'm immediately like, oh my God, it's a scammer. Oh my God. But I'm in the moment, I'm so focused on that man, and obviously just thinking, what's he going to do next? And then what you don't realise is that 3 men are coming the other side. So it's like that,
you're
right?
trapped in between.
So he comes in behind me, and 3 men were on this side. And as he's given his little Oscar dramatic performance and trying to distract me,
tacky,
these 3 men immediately, and bear in mind, broad daylight this is, right? In the middle of the day, broad daylight, actually a lot of people around, they don't give a shit. I could immediately feel one of them going into my coat pocket.
Shut your mouth.
Girlies.
That's creepy. Get out of my clothes. I would have absolutely knocked your teeth out.
No, it was a crazy moment, because I think they probably thought that my phone, because I'd taken it out, they've seen me do that, they probably thought it was in that pocket. Unluckily for them, it was right in my leggings, which is like under layers of coat.
Thank God.
Because actually, that time I went was sort of Spain's winter, so I had layers on, thank God.
Wow.
So it was not accessible, so that was the plus. But anyway, I immediately feel him rummaging in my pocket. I have obviously an immediate, like, hey! I turn around, I'm like shouting, going, go! And it happened probably in the space of like 30 seconds, if that, like 20 seconds max. I'm trying to react to that, tell him to like bog off, basically. But then as that's happening, this guy back over here, he's then trying the other pocket.
Excuse me, that's so aggressive, because, excuse me, you're a lone woman. So, 4 men. That's insane. Ew. The way I would start throwing punches and scream. Well, I'm not being funny. I'm outraged.
In the end, I basically... This is what kind of cracks me the most in hindsight. So, first original guy, he's then giving it, right? So then I'm going back to him and going, oh! I'm basically like flitting between these 2 guys in this very short space of time, just kind of not really saying anything, because it's like this out of body reaction where you're like expressing your frustration, but you're not really saying anything. You're like, hey, I know, just making sounds, right? Mm-hmm. And then I obviously clock at that time, right? I actually need to move now. I can't just like stop here and shout at these people. So I sort of like ripped my suitcase like purposely to like rush off. And then the other guy gave another Oscar-worthy performance, and he tried to make out like I hurt his leg or something. And he does this whole dramatic, like almost falls to the ground moment of like, oh, my knee. And then he's clearly trying to build up another distraction in the hopes that like his other mate will get me. Yeah. Basically, after like 4,000 bloody attempts of trying to get in my pockets, I eventually obviously get away from them.
That's terrifying.
And I'm rushing down the road. And the thing that just pisses me off so most in that moment is not only that just happened, but I walk like a few yards, shop full of people
that
just
didn't help.
Watching it.
Yeah.
Didn't help, didn't do nothing.
No, that's
I'm
not cool.
like so flustered, understandably. I'm completely focused on getting to her flat, which I can see just on the corner. I'm like, oh my God, just get to the door. My Josie, bless her, I go into her thing, she buzzes me in, I go up the little lift. What her little tradition used to be when I used to arrive is she would like do a little video of me like arriving, because we're like, oh my God, you're here. And it was like we always used to do that to each other. She's recording me and I'm going, let's take our bags, and I like burst into tears.
Oh no!
It's such, the thing is, you're so obviously terrified in that moment, but you're not processing it. Because you're in fight or flight, you're trying to obviously get out of danger, but when you get away from that danger and you see safety and someone you know, it's like, the
Straight up.
adrenaline
No.
completely obviously goes, and it's like, oh my God, that was so terrifying, and actually was terrifying, because it's like 4 grown men in the middle of the day
That makes
just
me
fully
livid.
accosted me and physically like went into my property and my coat, and like I was actually no one
That's,
helped
I think,
me.
what would make, I would start like, I don't even know if I'd punch well. I would literally, my limbs would be everywhere. I'd be like, I am gonna drop kick
Just like
every
helicopter.
damn one of you. How dare see,
this
I
is the thing
think
that you don't know how you'll react to that until you're in the
No.
moment, because your body kind of takes over for you, which is an amazing part of us as humans. It like knows what to do, because my body obviously knew I need to get away from this danger, like move away, and thankfully I did, and I was quite quick. But it's like, I'm not convinced that if I didn't know that prior knowledge that my
you would
friend
be like,
gave
what the hell is
me,
happening?
oh, and that's how
Steamy.
easily pickpocketers can take your stuff, because it's like they're very orchestrated.
Also, like, not being funny, go get a fucking job.
In it, you fucking crumbs.
And that really pisses me off as well, because do you know what? If you want to take a couple of like 30 euros off me, please just do it, because you take my phone, that fucks me up my whole holiday. Like, I can't get my boarding pass.
Before.
That pisses me. I hate it. Like, no, like, see.
Yeah,
fair shout.
It did. It kind of shook me to the core. That did.
Yeah.
But the fact that was like obviously my first time in life ever experiencing something like that is quite scary.
Yeah, no, thank you.
But then I just, unfortunately, from that point onwards, whenever I've gone back to Barcelona, it's very hard for me not to be hyper aware now. Which is it sucks, because it's like I you know, like you have your senses about you in general, right? As a tourist,
I was
going to
say specifically as a woman as well. I think you're so hyper vigilant anyway.
And I think that's just, you kind of accept that as like, you know that feeling, but when that's like a hyper version of that, and it has layers of trauma to it, a bit of PTSD maybe low-key, it ruins the vibe for me now, because I'm like, I kind of used
just
to
want
like
to go for a coffee, and now I'm just like, how dare you? Yeah, so
and
fair.
like whenever I have to go on like is it the metro they call it in I can't remember what they call it, but like the tube or whatever in Barcelona, I'm just like gripping on for dear life to all my stuff. And I hate that it, like, that place makes me feel like that now. And it's just like, it's taken away the.
But no, do you know what though? I think they deserve that. I'm not being, because like in Asia, I find, like, obviously Southeast Asia, it's so funny, like how it gets. Obviously everyone's like, oh, be careful, like people will pickpocket. I leave my bum bag on the table. I go to the toilet in the coffee house, and I remember
you could never do that in Barcelona.
You would never be able to do that in Europe.
Like,
you just wouldn't. Imagine doing that here. Hilarious. No, I sometimes risk it in my cafe back home, leaving my laptop on the table, and I'm like, I feel very safe here, but that doesn't stop anyone still being absolute muggins and like running off with it if they wanted to. But like, I remember the first week in my first stint of Southeast Asia, one girl was from Singapore and one guy was from Indonesia, and I took my bum bag with me, and they flagged me on it, and they were like, I can't believe you don't trust us. I was like, yo, if you come to the UK, you know our culture,
you'll understand.
This would get ripped off my body, let alone the table, if I left it. Like, I was like 4 days into traveling, and I was like, this, but now, like, I'm like, I just leave it and it would be okay. But it's such a weird thing to go between the areas that you can trust and can't trust. Because I'm like,
I know. In London as well.
Yeah, London.
Oh my God.
Well, that's where I nearly got done.
I remember when I was in London. Actually, it was funny enough. It was for Liam's stag when we were getting the train together to Brighton. I was on the way to the train station we were meeting at, and there was a bunch of tourists in front of me. They were German, and I'm not joking you. This woman, she had her phone sticking out of her back jean pocket.
Oh, it stresses me out.
In the middle of Central. I literally went up to her. I said,
they
couldn't really speak English. They didn't understand me, but I was like, you have to, like, your phone will get stolen. Like, you need to put that away. They were like, oh, thank you.
They will take that from you in a heartbeat. Oh my goodness.
Thank God some humans have each other's backs. Because I'm not gonna lie, that I lost faith in humanity when that happened to me in Barcelona, because I was like, how dare nobody intervene
also,
when
like,
that just happened on the street? Like,
flight thing, fright or flight, whatever the hell it's called. But like, someone could have stuck their head out the door and gone, oi!
Yeah,
which is what I probably do. Like, I might try and beat you up, but at the same time, like, I'm probably just going to shout at you.
And even if you didn't necessarily, even if you couldn't clock on that was like a pickpocketing situation,
you know that they're in distress.
That's one single girl and 4 men
that's
in
so
circling.
nasty.
That's not, that's not normal. Like, that's not like, We're not friends. Like, do you know what I
Gross.
mean? And I'm clearly distressed.
Okay,
and
so
it's like,
Barcelona can jog on.
I'm so sorry. And Josie, if you ever listen to this, I love you so much with all my
Josie.
life, but you know my traumas.
Hell
But
no.
I will say I have had some very positive experiences, like with her in Barcelona, and it's probably more our memories that we've created there.
That's so fair.
But just as a city as a whole, it's not my favourite. And when I think of Spain as a whole, I really do generally enjoy lots of the other cities because I just think they're a bit of a nicer vibe as well and a bit more like, I don't know, like there's just some parts of Barcelona that look a little bit grotty to me. Like, I know that's very city aesthetic anyway, but that's why it makes me think of London. Like, there's a lot more grittier parts to it that I'm maybe not as much a fan of. But
Fair.
anyway,
Not Barcelona then.
Sorry, Barcelona.
So you're not on the list. Bye.
What else did I put in my list of least faves?
But whoa! What's your faves? You didn't finish your faves.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I did split there. Oh, hang on. So New York, Spain with Palma, Valencia, and then I did put. I've got a top 5 here. I feel like I need to go my top 5. I'll do it quick. I won't do it. We're on like an hour and a half now.
I need a wee too. Sorry.
Yeah, South Africa was my 3rd. I had a really amazing trip when
Never
I was
been.
like 16 with my family. It was a very much like one of those once in a lifetime trips.
Did you do
where
safari?
we had. Oh yeah, we did all of it. Fed an elephant,
done
saw penguins in the
safari
wild. It was just like a really amazing experience, especially being like a teenager. You're obviously like,
I tell you, safari is up there. Like, if I ever get married and somehow change, that's what I want as my honeymoon. My husband better be listening, and he better be rich.
I will say the one sad thing about South Africa though is very eye-opening. The gap in wealth there
I was
is
gonna
really
say, I think...
quite sad. Like you do kind of almost feel a bit guilty as a tourist. I felt a little bit like you're having these amazing experiences, and you know, we're on a big family trip. We had this like really amazing villa with beautiful views and a pool, and you feel obviously like this is an amazing experience, but it is kind of the disparity when you come out of that villa and then you get in your car, you go down the road somewhere, and the streets are just lined with people waving money because they need to get like a lift to their literal shanty town where they live in a tin hut. Like, it's crazy.
But I kind of love that element of traveling though.
No, but that's just like poverty. Like, they don't like.
Yeah, but
that's not.
But like if I think of like, obviously I've not been there, but like when I think of how the traditional houses or certain elements of their lifestyle and culture is in, like, we're very Western privileged, and I think it's such a privileged reminder to be able to go and visit a touristy place and then be like, not being like, oh God, I'm glad I don't live like this, but like I sometimes go, oh wow, like also look how simple they live.
I don't think it's by choice, though, is the thing.
I'm probably thinking of different houses.
South Africa is a very...
Yeah, I've never been to South Africa.
There's a very bad history in South Africa.
Yes.
They have a lot of political...
I know that much.
Yeah, it's not cute. It's actually really very sad because they are living in deep, deep poverty. And I'm sure they find happiness in their life, but it's really wrong that that's where it's like, because you've got these insane ultra-rich people in these gated communities in mansions, and then straight down the road... I'm not joking.
Okay, yeah, that's a very different
like made
vibe
out
than
of metal.
Okay, that's
no electricity, nothing, no water. They live like really and they're all on top of each other, and they're called shanty towns. And it's just one of the most harrowing things to see that as you're like driving away from your bloody villa. And most of these villas have got like butlers and maids, and that's what they have to do for work. And it's like. It was a very eye-opening experience in many ways. So South Africa is a very impactful trip for me, for my childhood. So that's why that's in my top 3. Quick one on my top 4 is Krakow in Poland. I did have a great old time in Poland. Food's amazing, culture's amazing. It's really cheap in terms of the currency for us in the UK. Like the exchange rate's great. And she had a little viral moment.
I was going to say, and she became like a TikTok star.
There's like a part of my heart that's now with the people of Poland, because I just weirdly went like very viral when I was doing all my TikToks over there. And now I have this like really cool Polish audience, and there's just like a cute little connection there that like makes me feel happy. And I just recently went to Gdansk in Poland, and the people are nice in Poland. Like, it's just all around good vibes in Poland. So
I've not been yet.
Yeah,
I need to go.
And I know this sounds, I'm not saying this in a like it was an amazing trip, because it's a very serious like thing to do, but obviously Poland is where Auschwitz is, And being someone who's really interested in history, like that trip was similar to like the 9/11 museum. Like that, I have to say, if ever in your lifetime you get an opportunity, you have to go to Auschwitz. Like, it's such a like life-changing experience seeing that for yourself in person. It's so, we all know that history and you see endless films and videos, but when you go on one of those tours and you see it for yourself, it's really like takes you back quite a bit. But obviously that's close to Krakow, so that brought that experience. And then my top 5, it was actually kind of ties into the history stuff. Was I went on a school trip with the history department when I was about 16 or 15. And that was actually, weirdly enough, my first time in New York, but it was very marred by illness and just not a good time.
Love
but Washington, D.C., though, we went to. And I'd love to go back to Washington, D.C., which is the capital of America, because for any history nerd, it's full of museums, full of, obviously, I went to the White House. I went to the White House. I would just like to say, not many people in this lifetime can say they've been inside the White House.
I certainly can't.
And I only got it because I was a school kid. So they used to do, obviously, they probably still do it now. Like, they only allow, like, limited
president?
school.
George Bush.
What year was this? Actually, no, was it? No, it wasn't Obama yet, but I remember Obama bobbleheads in the airport. It would have been
probably before
2009, maybe? Maybe he was on the campaign to be elected at that point. It might have been just before he became president, but it probably was George W. Bush before him, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And he must have been coming up for lucky then.
Do you know what's so devastating? I'm so mad at my 16-year-old self because back then, it was obviously a school trip. There was a lot of drama that went down on this school trip.
No, I don't believe it. That never happens on school trip. That's crazy.
We nearly got kicked out of our hotel in Washington, D.C.
I thought you were going to say we nearly got kicked out of the White House. I was like, pretty hell.
Well, I'm mad at myself because I so took that experience for granted being in the White House because...
Why wouldn't you? You were like 16. Of course that was going to happen.
I mean, you got to understand for context. This was like quite... It was a fun trip, obviously, but it was quite a hard trip because... It's like 40 kids, a bunch of teachers. It was crammed into the space of like 4 days or something crazy like that. And we were traveling to New York. Then we trekked all around and it was a bit of a disaster. Then they took us over on a coach to like Washington, D.C. And I was really ill as well. I've never been so sick. I had like a chest infection, an ear infection. I had a full breakdown in Macy's in New York and was crying in the middle of the show.
Oh,
no, the teachers were so... I'm sorry, fuck my teachers, yeah, because first of all, I was so severely ill, right, and jet lagged, as we all are. I was on my period, and I was so pissed off. Because
I love it when they all hit you at once. It's so amazing.
Sorry to be a bit TMI here, yeah, but I had already had a period once that month, and I wasn't expecting to have it. And no offence, my mum should have prepared me better. I had nothing with me.
No.
I had to, like, borrow, like, minimal supplies from the girls in the hotel. This is honestly so TMI, but like I had to like improvise, okay? And like that's just not cute. And the teachers were so shit. I was so ill. And I asked them, I really need to like find a pharmacy and get stuff. And they just wouldn't take me.
Are you kidding?
I'm not joking you. They had no time in the schedule for us to find anywhere.
Just drip down my leg the whole day. That'll be a fun trip.
And I needed like medication. And there's shout out to Martha, okay? When we were in Washington, D.C., they got us this tour guide. And she was a little old lady. She was probably like maybe low-key in her 70s, and she was like Swedish or something, and she was actually so nice. Her name was Martha, and she took us around all these places, and she even surprised us, bless her, with tickets to one of the... In Washington, they've got a place called the Washington Monument, which you might be aware, it's like a really tall, pointed structure that's in the middle of Washington, D.C. Anyway, she was like, surprise, I got you tickets, like, take you to the top, and that wasn't like really planned in, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. And Martha came, she didn't have medicine for me, but she had these lozenge sweets, and she knew I was ill, and she kept coming up to me every day and giving me her sweets. I was like, thank you, Martha, you're doing more than my fucking teachers do.
I hope Martha is living a healthy, vibrant life. No, she's alive and well, and I hope she gets everything exactly.
God bless you, Martha. You made my trip. But anyway, so I'm in the trenches. I'm really ill. I can't speak because my throat's hurting so much. I got no meds. I'm on my period, and I had a full breakdown in Macy's, and I was crying because I had
just an average day then, really.
But all through that trauma... Oh, and we nearly got kicked out of the hotel because some of the boys thought it'd be really funny to throw a Yellow Pages book and a Bible that comes inside the hotel rooms. Oh, we'll throw them out the window. onto the street, and then it hit a car, and then the car driver came to the hotel and said, "Hey, there's kids up there throwing books." And then we almost got, it was actually really dramatic. We just got there.
I feel like an American would take that like really well.
Yeah. My teacher was crying.
Not being funny, if someone threw a Bible and you hit the wrong person, yo.
No, someone could have like died. Like we were in I'm talking like we're in like a skyscraper. Like it's a tall hotel. So like throwing that from a high floor, boom. Like even if it's just one book, that's gonna that could knock someone out. Anyway, it was a whole drama, and we just about checked in, and then some of the girls were like showering and freshening up, and within like minutes that had happened, and then we all got ushered into the teachers. We had 2 female teachers and 1 male teacher, and like the girls and the boys were kept in separate floors as they do in school trips. And the 2 female teachers were probably like sharing a room together at the end of the corridor. And then they just knocked on all of our doors, like out of nowhere, and was like, "Girls, you all got to come into Miss Morris's room now." And we were like, "Oh my God." We all come and shove into a room, and Miss Morris is in the corner crying, and we're like, "Oh my God, what is going on?" And then obviously,
I feel like Miss Morris maybe shouldn't have been away from home with a load of kids.
Honestly, God bless those teachers, because 3 of them looking after like 40 plus kids.
That
and
seems
teenage boys as well.
Not okay.
Throwing Bibles out the window. Come on. Anyway, that was a really dramatic trip. So throughout all that trauma, it is still in my top list because of all the things we saw there were really amazing. Like there were so many historical places we saw.
So fair.
And obviously we were history students.
That means, imagine
so...
if you went back well. Because the fact
what
that
I'm
was so
saying.
traumatic, if you enjoyed it, if it still makes the top 5.
That's why I want to go back.
Yeah, that's so fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, sorry, I have blithered on a bit, but those are my top 5s. I've obviously shat on Barcelona a bit, but do you want to just quickly give us a rapid top 3 that you can think of?
Yes. I'm going to have to say that Indonesia, don't make me pick, I'm going to go Gilead because that is where it just has a piece of my heart.
And that's where you went back
That is where I went back
to
and spent 2.5 weeks this time. It's the Gili Islands. I don't know if you know Southeast Asia and the areas like
Google it.
You'll know. They're Lombok Islands, but they're a really small, like 3 little tiny islands. You can literally walk around them in like an hour and a half. And they're between Bali and Lombok. And Gilead is my favourite. And it's just, I love that it's slow paced. There's no cars on the island. It's just a really slow paced life. And the food is amazing. And there's like 5 vegan restaurants. So I eat like royalty. I stay in these beautiful bungalows. And I love the people. I find them so accommodating, so friendly, so smiley. I love them. So Indonesia, I will in the rest of my life. Yeah.
Top the list.
But I'd have to say currently Gilead just has a piece of my heart. Like I love it. I can't explain it. Thailand, I need to still explore places. But Chiang Mai I went back to this time as well. And I didn't realise how much I liked it. I landed, got out the car and went, oh God, it's really nice to be back. And that was also really lovely.
Nice.
Again, it was a place that I stayed longer in. And I think that really, really helps when has its meaning and it feels better, because the places that really, really had a piece of my heart, I just stayed longer in. And again, the people, I love them. I made some really lovely friends. I ate some really lovely food, and I just find them really, really accommodating. And I love, again, talking to people, being like, I love messing around, and I just love meeting people that are friendly, and it's just so much fun because I feel like they really bounce off the energy, and you find you find your same sort of people. And I just, like specifically this time I stayed in a hostel, and I loved one of the ladies behind reception. I loved all of them, but like she was very similar. We bounced. She was very cheeky. Her English was impeccable. So she all the humour were like absolutely on peak. Yeah, it was just like genuinely, I loved it.
So Thailand takes the spot.
Thailand takes 2, and I'd have to say for number 3, Japan last time. Japan wasn't on my list, but I ended up going.
It's a popular destination.
It's very
I've spoken to so many people in my life who are just like, I really want to go to Japan, or I'm planning to go to Japan. Like
there was just
really
something that happened.
After destination.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I have to say I did 1 week there. And I stayed in Osaka for a couple of days. I did Tokyo for a couple of days, and I visited I think it's Minu and Kyoto. I needed longer in Kyoto. I didn't explore that enough, but that would probably be cool. If I'm honest, I could take or leave Tokyo. It was just a lot going on in a lot of different places. Osaka I loved. It very much reminded me of like Northern Quarter Manchester, but on a bigger scale. And I think the scenery is beautiful, and I would just love to, I think, explore the country more.
There's so many different. I think like naturally most people do think of Tokyo when you think of Japan and like the bullet trains and like the busy crossing roads, and it's almost like imagery of Japan that's really like seeped into society, into people's brains. But actually, if you look into it more, there's so many different regions of Japan. It's very mountainous. There's like lots of skiing.
You can do skiing in the north. Like I never knew that until I went, and I was just like, I can't believe that's so. It's just it's very cool. It's very, very cool.
And is there somewhere? I mean, you don't have to go through a large list here, but was there one place that you were like, oh, girly, not for me? And like we say this, same with the Barcelona thing. It's not usually anything against like people's culture or people personally. You don't want the internet to have a tizzy, but like you have your own personal lived experiences.
Totally.
So what would yours have been?
So the first time I went, when I was there longer, the Philippines really threw me. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't go back. I think I was really burnt out, and I think it works different. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it just works differently from the rest of Southeast Asia that I'd experienced. And it was really throwing me. And again, my brain needs a bit of time for change and adjustments especially when you're moving around so quickly. But like for me, I'd love to go back because I found again that people are so I think I just love Southeast Asian people. I think they're so kind. They're so I love them. But I found it's even little things like I found people a bit more. Maybe I was just receiving it differently. Maybe because I was tired or just like a bit all over the place. But like it just I didn't find myself as settled there, and I would love to go back just to prove that wrong, basically. But I still I went to Siargao Island for like a week, and I loved that. But it's just like certain like bits of it. I think like. I don't know. Maybe you're just like,
not
why am I
everything's
on
going to
edge?
be a hit.
Exactly.
Like,
You're
going to get some misses. Like the same that I've had in Barcelona. I've had some misses. Sometimes it's actually a lot of it is circumstantial, not necessarily the place itself. Like
that also not being funny. The Philippines are made up of like 7,000 islands. I went to 2 of them. I went to Cebu, which I think is kind of known for being a little bit seedy in areas, and I think it wasn't necessarily what I expected. Siargao was I would stay in Pacifico rather than General Luna. But then I flew out from Manila Airport. I didn't go to Manila. I just was in Manila Airport, and I don't know, sometimes I'd just be like, what? Like, why is there was like it was a bit more like cumbersome than other places maybe. Yeah. So that like, but I wouldn't say I dislike. I'm so glad and grateful that I've got to everywhere.
Look at us just sitting here, seasoned veterans and all the places we've travelled. Like, I generally feel very grateful of all the places I've experienced so far, because I appreciate that not everyone has that luxury. Exactly. And it is a complete luxury and a blessing that anyone can even go 2 hours on a plane to Spain these days. I mean, travel is so expensive now, but like it is amazing to definitely get out there and see other parts of the world. And I think if anyone's listening to this, like feeling like, do I take the lead?
Yeah, I was going to say, if
in
you
any way, shape, or form, just if you can, just do it. Just do it, Nike, or whatever the bloody phrase is. But so in conclusion, then, what would be like your sort of quick one-liner of like best tips for someone who is maybe whether it's backpacking, even if it's just a quick little holiday. Trust your gut. That's your answer. Okay.
But I think especially with backpacking, especially maybe with like solo female travel as well, this is the one thing I found in the first like 4 months that I did. The more I listened to my gut, the safer I felt, because that don't lie. Like gut instinct, absolutely. Like that intuition isn't lying.
Yeah.
And I found that actually then weirdly the first time when I came home and I didn't listen to it, that's when I was like, wait, what's gone on? What's gone wrong? And it's the fact that I didn't listen to it. And I think that just proved that when I was traveling, I don't know, maybe I'm just like woo woo. And I was like, no, the divine feminine is like, it's protective, but like genuinely like trust your gut, because
That's a very like philosophical piece of advice, which I enjoy. Mine's going to be a little bit more practical, because she's Miss Planner over here. And from learned experience is, my honestly top tip, and I do this for everything now, is make sure you take medication and maybe sanitary products if you need them. I can't express how like important that is for me personally, because sometimes I know it's not the end of the world. I know you can theoretically get things in other countries, but
they can be
if you're someone, if you're a little
Mm-hmm.
bit anxious or like you're worried about the language barrier, not being able to figure out what it is, I personally find a lot of comfort in knowing that I've just got some basics. Like, right, I got some painkillers if I need them. There's a bit of Bonjela.
I was going to say, a bit of Rene.
Sting. Yeah, a
you
bit
got
of
your
Rennies.
stinging itch
like,
thing.
Let's be honest, like things like diarrhea relief and all these things, because that can happen.
My ginger tablets. That's what I did this time.
Plasters.
Straight up. Like last time, I didn't use basically any of it. But then I was like, if I don't take it this time,
Mozzie
I'll
spray.
Oh my God, Mozzie spray to high heavens.
I think it goes a long way. It just brings me personally a bit of comfort when I know that if something does occur or I get a bit ill, because I got to be honest, I am someone who's quite prone to getting ill from planes and travelling. It's so annoying. Even just general flu and shit. But just
hydration tablets. Hydration tablets is always,
kids.
Electrolyte stuff, always.
Yeah. This happened so many times before.
I nearly had a heart attack.
Alexa, can you kindly shut up, please?
It's actually not about you.
Yeah, don't be so selfish. We're in the middle of a pod. How dare you?
It's Pisces
And
season.
it goes on and on. She just yaps on about the internet connection. Okay,
wow.
she stopped now.
That was an absolute soliloquy.
Well, I think that was the universe saying, bitches, shut up. Shut. No, to be fair, we have yapped on for an hour and 45.
And I can feel it because my bladder can.
Well, I genuinely appreciate you
tea.
coming back on the pod, Miss Amber.
Thank
I've had a thoroughly thrilling time.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you.
We've
Thank
had
you.
some good chats about travel, as usual, guys.
Sorry.
Oh, you're right there.
Sorry.
Travel inspirations. Check them in the comments. Are you planning any travels? Where would you like to go? Do you have a dream destination where you could go right this second? Where would you go?
I want to do Norway and I want to do Canada.
Oh,
guys,
Canada,
one of my big tick-offs, one of my big bucket list thing is to skate on a frozen lake. But not just like,
but don't die.
Not as like some like amateur, because obviously in my head I'm gonna start ice skating again and I'm gonna be able to do like a bit of a whole routine. I want to skate on a frozen lake. Norway, I just want to see.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, it really is. I can do it. I know I can. But I just need to like go back to lessons and then go to Canada. But
honestly, I'll just take Spain at this point. I just want to work with sun. That's my personal dream right now. I actually don't really care where it is. I just need to go somewhere with sunshine and warmth. That is all I wish for.
I want to go Norway, and I want to stay in one of those igloos where you can just watch the Northern Lights all night. And then you can see the whales.
Love it. Well, on that note, hens, we're gonna get popping off to have some tea. But drop us a comment, drop us a like, a share.
Where do you want to go?
Yes, tell us your dream destination,
and then we'll do our next podcast from there.
We'll do a remote pod from the Gili T Islands, and it'll be fabulous, darling.
Gili T is the party one.
You what?
The Gili T is the party one.
Oh, is it?
And it's like
we'll be like the British lads dancing in the bloody club. But anyway,
I'll throw my shoe.
Thank you, Amber, for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
Catch you on the next one, honeys.
See you later.